Today we'll check out more Frank Turek's video, the name being Law of Non-Contradiction. I hope he makes some sense in this one, but I doubt it. So let's just go at it and see what we can get from this.
Belief. Reality is the way things are, and a belief is the way we understand things to be. Now, all truth is putting those two concepts together. Truth is the correspondence between reality and belief. In fact, we might say that truth is what...
Just because you believe something doesn't mean it's reality. You believe Christianity is true, and in reality, we don't know. And if you're being honest with yourself, you're being agnostic. Just saying, Frank.
corresponds to reality. If I, when referring to this book, say this is The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins, that would be true. It refers to the book that really is The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. If I said this is I don't have enough faith to be an atheist, that wouldn't be true. It's not referring to the right book. Now you're saying, Frank, I came for this, I'm sitting on the floor for this. This is very obvious. Why are you saying this? Because
bro, you're not funny.
Culture, our first duty is to state the obvious.
So it's back to the classic today's culture.
People are denying the obvious. They're denying there's truth out there. Now,
also, I gotta say, I like the Paul Pierce jersey. Didn't they win like a championship 4 years prior to this video? Just interesting shit. Back to the video.
We'll see why that's a problem again here in a minute, but I'd like to start with a concept known as the law of non-contradiction. And the law of non-contradiction helps us discover what is false. It is a first principle of thought. How many in this room have ever had a course in logic? Logic. Okay, maybe about 20% of us. Logic used to be required in public schools. We don't teach it anymore. And I think it's pretty evident.
He's calling you all stupid and you're all laughing to it. And you're all most likely smarter than him. It is either you skipped that class, Frank, or this class was just shit. Cause you're not logical at all. You've never been logical.
But this is one of the laws of logic. You just know this law. It helps us discover what is false. It says opposite ideas cannot be both true at the same time and in the same sense. For example, the earth can't be both round and not round at the same time and in the same sense, right? It's either round or it's not round, but it's not both. We got it.
You know, it could have just said the earth cannot be round and flat at the same time because those are not the same thing. And I feel like it's scared of, saying flat earth and just taking that out. I think he has another video addressing that, and I believe it literally did not address it. We're gonna look at that video in the future. But the earth is not really round, it's an oblate spheroid. So that it's not like perfectly round.
That, right? Now some people say, well, this doesn't apply to religious claims. I disagree. In fact, let me give you a religious claim that the law of non-contradiction applies.
Will you look at that? I agree with you, Frank. It applies. Law of logic applies to religious claims. Let's apply it.
To. You see these two gentlemen here? Richard Dawkins, probably the most famous atheist in the world right now. Brilliant guy, teaches at Oxford. He says God does not exist. There's another brilliant guy teaching at Oxford as well. His name is John Lennox. He says God does exist. In fact, Dawkins and...
God, I fucking dislike Lennox too. Fucking annoying.
Lennox debated in Birmingham, Alabama in October of 2007. If you Google it, you can find the debate. Okay, now here's my question. Can both of these positions be right?
None of them are physicians. One is a biologist and the other is a mathematician. Again, let's use the law of logic here, Frank. Also, Dawkins, I don't believe Dawkins claimed there is no God 100% as far as I know.
No, they both can't be right. I mean, if Dawkins is right, Lennox is wrong. If Lennox is right, Dawkins is wrong. But they're both not right and they're both not.
It's basically Dawkins is saying the evidence is not leading to us to say there is a God. That's his stand. So an agnostic atheist.
Right? Okay. So who's right in this case? I'll give you a hint. It's Lennox.
Yeah. It's not funny and it's not right. Like the best the best position to take is the position of I don't know. Because that's all we have. We don't know if there is a God. The evidence is not leading to one. If there is a God, is hiding himself. They are hiding themselves quite well.
But you see, there's a difference between an assertion and an argument. I just asserted that Lennox was right. I can give you an argument. I'm going to give you an argument here in a few minutes.
You've never done that, and I doubt you will change.
Okay? I'm going to give evidence that I think Lennox is right. All I want to point out here is that the law of non-contradiction applies to religious claims. God does exist or he doesn't exist, but it's not both. Okay? Also, the law of non-contradiction is undeniable. Even those who deny it use it. Suppose you catch a friend of yours in a contradiction and you say, hey, that violates the law of non-contradiction. And your friend says,
I hate when he does that. Suppose this happened. Well, it doesn't happen. Because I don't have dumb friends.
I don't even believe in the law of non-contradiction. In fact, he says, I just don't even want to hear this. I don't believe in the law of non-contradiction. What should you say to him? If he says, I don't believe in the law of non-contradiction. You should say, you do believe it. He's going to say, no, I don't. You're going to say, you do believe it. He's going to say, no, I don't.
How can you say you don't believe in the law of non-contradiction? It's not something for you to believe. Whether you believe it or not, it still applies. Whether you believe the earth is an oblate spheroid or not does not change the fact that it is what it is. And it's not flat.
You're going to say, you do believe in it because you're using it right now to contradict me. You see, you can't think a thought without the law of non-contradiction. The law of non-contradiction is to thinking what your eyes are to seeing. You can't see without eyes, and you can't think without the law of non-contradiction. Philosophers call this a first principle of thought. It's self-evident. You
can't think without law of contradiction. Law of non-contradiction. Why do they take things literal?
can't prove it, you just know it. There's nothing behind it. It is the intellectual tool you use to discover everything else, along with the law of the excluded middle, the law of identity, all of
Stop whining around and present fucking evidence.
these are basic laws of logic that we all intuitively understand. Now, Avicenna was a great Muslim philosopher years ago who had a great way of convincing those who denied the law of non-contradiction that they were wrong. Here's what Avicenna said. He said, anyone who denies the law of non-contradiction should be beaten and burned. Until he admits to be beaten is not the same as not to be beaten, and to be burned is not the same as not to be burned. Can everybody see that being beaten is not the same as not being beaten? And being burned is
This is not funny.
not the same as not. They're opposites, right? Now that's a little extreme, but you get the point. By the way, this is not condoned as a Christian belief.
And there we have it, folks. No evidence presented. I guess I was right after all. It is not gonna change. It's a good job lying and wasting my time. I guess it just ended there stupidly. I hope some of those people find a way out of this bullshit. Well, I think we can all agree that Frank is making a little sense here for a second time. It is not logical to say something cannot be and be at the same time. I think Christians and him need to apply this to their belief. God cannot be human and not human at the same time. God cannot be three and not three at the same time. He cannot be one and not one at the same time. A trinity does not make any fucking sense. It's not logical. Also, God cannot be nothing at the same time. Be something. It cannot be immaterial and spaceless at the same time, take up space and be material. How can he make something out of nothing when he is nothing? Again, just not logical. How can he interact with people when he is immaterial, spaceless, and timeless? Guys, I think I just unlocked the next level to a way to speak with Christians when they bring up the trinity of bullshit. That is it for today. If you like the video, like and subscribe. If you hate the video, like and subscribe. If you did not enjoy the video and you got to the end, you might as well just like and subscribe. That's it for today. Have a lovely day.